Good morning. It is Friday. It's January 12th. Here's what we're working on. The deadline to pay off loans for the pandemic-era CEBA account is fast approaching.
Environment Canada set to hold a technical briefing on the storm forecast for Ontario and Quebec.
And Mississauga's own Simu Liu is going to be hosting this year's People's Choice Awards. Good morning. So, Brian, we're in for a few hours of calm before,
That's right.
Okay, how bad is this storm going to be if Environment Canada is holding a technical briefing? We've never heard of that before.
No, that's not happened before. I think what's going on is they're getting inundated by calls saying, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? That they decided, okay, maybe what we should do here is put out a note saying, we're going to talk to you about this and we'll give you a quote unquote technical briefing. And that's going to be happening this afternoon in advance of this storm because, never mind everybody, but the media is going, what's happening with this thing? So we're watching this big storm coming up out of the American South. Now, it moves its way up towards the Great Lakes. Not going to bother us for the day today, but it's going to start overnight tonight. So today, we should climb to the plus side, +1. We're at -2 right now. It'll be partly cloudy to mainly cloudy sky for the day. So a little bit of sun would be nice. But tonight, the snow begins as the temperatures actually go up overnight. We could get 5 to 10 centimeters of snow tonight before it cycles into rain overnight. The winds will start to pick up. Tomorrow the temperature drops, so we're going to get more snow tomorrow once the temperature falls into the freezing column, and then it's going to get cold. So 5 to 10 centimeters tonight, another couple of centimeters tomorrow. Tomorrow the winds could gust 80 to 100 kilometers an hour, 100 in North Shore of Lake Erie into Niagara tomorrow, so they can be damaging winds, and that's going to decrease the visibility, of course. So we'll explain all this with the maps and show you what's going on coming up in a few minutes. Right now, let's have a quick check on traffic. It's Friday, so light volume, 403 Waterdown Road, nothing to see right there. It's looking pretty good at the moment. Just a few MTO traffic cameras give you kind of an overview. Centennial Parkway still really light, nothing there. Top of the Skyway Bridge all the way through Appleby. Now, when I was coming in this morning, I went through quite a few fog patches, so be careful. Could be reduced visibility in some areas. So weather and traffic in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Okay, thanks very much. While you were sleeping, Canada and other allies supported U.S. and British forces in an attack late last night against more than a dozen sites used by the Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen. The Houthis have reported this morning that the U.S.-led airstrikes on Yemen killed at least 5 people. They say it will, quote, not go unanswered and unpunished. These strikes were in response to the drone and missile attacks on commercial ships that started after the start of the Israel-Hamas war. U.S. President Joe Biden says the strikes on sites used by Houthis, quote, endanger freedom of navigation in one of the world's most vital waterways. Biden says the strikes were meant to show that the allies won't tolerate the group's attacks on ships in the Red Sea.
Well, former federal NDP leader Ed Broadbent has died at the age of 87. Broadbent was a member of Parliament for 23 years, leading the party for more than 14 before stepping down in 1989. He jumped back into the political game in 2004, easily winning his party's nomination in the riding of Ottawa Centre, but did not seek re-election in 2006. Now, in 2011, he announced the creation of the Broadbent Institute to explore social democratic policy along with new ideas.
Questions about stormwater fees dominated a town hall meeting last night for Hamilton's rural Ward 12. Farmers are concerned that they could be charged thousands of dollars when the city starts charging all residents a new stormwater fee next year. The money will help Hamilton cover an estimated $54 million needed to better manage stormwater. The fees vary depending on how many impervious surfaces are on the land that direct rainwater to the sewers.
Stormwater funding structure, I gave the community an overview of what's been proposed, the consultation that's been happening, and to let them know about a motion that I had moved unanimously at Council to relook at the agricultural fees, as agricultural owners had seen fees potentially in the tens of thousands of dollars, which is unacceptable. And we told staff to go back and look at a different way to manage that funding.
Stormwater management is urban infrastructure that is mainly used, and it's identified on the screen. We pay plenty of property tax for our rural lots, rural residences, farms, and businesses across the city. And we know that we're not getting the services that are required in most cases, and farmers and rural property owners certainly don't want to be paying more for services that they aren't receiving.
Under the City of Hamilton's proposal, farms will be charged using the same system as big box stores that have large paved parking lots.
So weather is front and center this morning with this incoming storm. We're taking a bigger look at it, though, because NASA and NOAA, they're going to be releasing its 2023 assessment of global temperatures after a historic year for extreme weather worldwide. Let's bring in Simone Gavros, who joins us live from Spencer Smith Park with more on this and what they're going to present. Good morning, Simone.
Hi, good morning, Tim. Well, yes, climate experts with NASA and NOAA are going to be recapping and ranking the top weather events that we saw this year across the world. Now, as we know, 2023 was one for the books. We saw some historic weather across the province and across globally as well. Now, last year beat the record for the hottest summer in the northern hemisphere and the warmest winter in the southern hemisphere. NASA's press release says that the United States had 25 confirmed disaster events. And here in Canada, record wildfires were #1 on Environment Canada's top list of weather events in 2023. Now, as we saw, massive wildfires burned across Canada, with smoke drifting into the U.S. and turning skies orange in New York City. Now, NASA says that the analysis of these global weather patterns provides government with information to make critical decisions going forward. Now, the details of this report and of these weather events are going to be released this morning at 11 a.m. Annette, I'll send things back to you.
Okay, and this may be a first. Environment and Climate Change Canada is holding a technical briefing at 1 this afternoon Eastern Time. It's to talk about this weekend's snowstorm. They say it will be a primary opportunity for journalists to connect with meteorologists on the conditions expected in Quebec and Ontario. Speaking of winter, if you're looking for something fun to do in Burlington this weekend, the city is putting on a Winter Fun Day in partnership with Cogeco. Festivities take place at the Rotary Centennial Pond on Lakeshore Road from 11 till 4 tomorrow. There'll be free skating, refreshments, and prizes. Of course, this is all weather permitting. City of Burlington events teams will also be there to lend equipment if you need it. Skates will be available to rent at the pond, but sizes are limited and they're first come, first serve.
Let's stay on the ice because there's plenty to discuss there. Actually, plenty to discuss in the ice court and even the field this morning in Sportsline. Let's start on Long Island, though, where Toronto was hoping for a 5th straight win against the Islanders, where Austin Matthews was doing everything he could.
And with Dobson, harassed, stolen, Matthews walks in and shoots, scores!
The superstar for the Leafs would tally his second goal of the night, both coming at the start of the second period to put the Leafs up 3-1. They were his league-leading 32nd and 33rd goals of the year. He also put him into a tie with Ron Ellis for 4th in the all-time goals list in Leafs history, both sitting at 332. Matthews doing it in about half the games. Bad news, the Buds let the Islanders come back and tie it, and then the Islanders would win it in overtime on this Matt Barzal goal to send their hometown fans happy. Winning streak is over at 4. They lose 4-3. Plenty of other streaks continued elsewhere, though.
A handoff to Zach Hyman. Hard to the net. Rolls in front. Turned over. Nurse shoots and scores. This game is over.
There's Hamilton's Darnell Nurse. He was the hero in the Motor Cities. The Oilers tied a franchise record with their 9th straight win. Nurse, that is, scored the OT winners. Edmonton beat the Red Wings 3-2. And they can set the all-time franchise record Saturday with a win in Montreal. Quite the turnaround for the Oil, who were in the basement of the league not long after a brutal start to their season. They're not the only ones that are going streaking.
Now Dillon. Hawks and Jets. It's Ehlers. Nikolai Ehlers. He scores.
How about them Jets? Nick Ehlers scored the game winner with just over a minute to go as Winnipeg picks up their 8th straight win as they scored twice in the final few minutes to down Chicago 2-1. They remain atop the NHL standings. Vancouver also won, beating Pittsburgh 4-3 in overtime. So they stay just a point back. Good things happening for Canadian hockey fans, except you Sens fans. They lost again in Buffalo. Just down the road in St. Catharines, Ice Dogs were hosting the Barrie Colts a day after the trade deadline. They continued a 6-game homestand. They would pick up their second straight win. Owen Flores made 34 saves. William Stewart's first OHL goal. That would be the winner. The Dogs beat the Colts 4-1. They are right back at it tonight as they go for 3 straight when Flint arrives at the Meridian Center. Bulldogs, they host Ottawa in Brantford. It was a historic night in OKC, and not in a good way for the visiting Portland Trailblazers. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and his squad brought the Thunder big time. They crushed the Blazers, get this, 139-77. The 62-point victory marches the 5th largest rout in NBA history. The Thunder were on the other end of the worst ever. It happened in 2021 when they lost by 73 to Memphis. SGA did not play that game. He played 21 minutes last night, picking up his usual 31 points. And don't look now, but we're just over a month away from spring training kicking off. Blue Jays were busy signing 10 and 11 arbitration-eligible players. The only one they were not able to reach a deal with, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. So that means they will either have to go to an arbitration hearing with Vladdy, or the team signs the first baseman to a multi-year deal. Guerrero coming off a subpar season, hitting 21 bombs, driving in 94.
6:11, it is Friday, the 12th of January. Okay, we're going to be talking about that storm coming up in a second. But first of all, let's get a quick check on traffic. Not a lot happening, no volume, no collisions. 403 in Waterdown Road area, still doing okay. Pulling my controller here, and you can see that. There's the QEW at 7th. I have to push the buttons here. QEW in 7th, St. Catharines, nothing to see. Centennial Parkway all the way through the 403. 403 coming out of Hamilton toward Burlington, no problems. Ford Plant the same, all the way through Cawthra, so nothing around the Horseshoe. Please take it carefully. Could be a little bit slippery this morning. There has been some fog. I had some slippery patches this morning, so be careful. All right, temperature at the moment has just fallen. We're now sitting at -3. The winds, thankfully, fairly light, but they are shifting around now. North-northeast at 7. They were south last hour, so they're shifting. It gives us a wind chill of -5. It is a mainly cloudy sky right now. For school today, we're going to see a mainly cloudy sky. It will become windy, winds to about 60 kilometers an hour, but a plus side high for the day today, +1. Okay, nothing going on right now, mainly cloudy sky, but watch what happens. There comes that system. We could get some snow, we could get some rain overnight tonight, and then back to snow for the day tomorrow. But look at those arrows. Look how large those arrows are going to be for the day tomorrow. As you can see, that storm system coming up and across us, that's going to really kick in the winds from the south during the day, overnight tonight, and then shifting around and bringing in the cold air, and it is going to get frigid as we head through the beginning of next week. But today, becoming mild, +1, +2, +3, a little bit of sunshine is possible, winds picking up to about 60 kilometers an hour. Tonight, though, the snow settles in 5 to 10 centimeters. That'll be in the evening hours. The winds will stay strong, but temperatures will go up to 3 and 4 degrees by tomorrow morning. That means the snow will cycle into some rain overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, the temperatures fall to these values, so that rain will cycle into snow, so another couple of centimeters. But the winds tomorrow, winds to 80 to 100 kilometers an hour. So the winds are going to get very strong, blowing that snow around. So out the door this morning, it's not too bad, mostly cloudy, winds are light, temperature -3, wind chill -5. Long range in a few minutes. Annette, Tim.
Thanks for the good news.
Okay. Yeah. What should we do?
Oh, man.
Cover up and stay at home.
Yeah.
Do nothing all weekend.
What's up?
People's Choice Awards. They have a brand new host. I think we're going to like it. And Doritos is coming out with a brand new chip or talkie for the Super Bowl.
Okay.
We'll talk about that.
Okay, we're just over a month away from the Super Bowl, so we're starting to see these kind of commercials rolling through.
The cost for these commercials, astronomical.
Yeah.
Every year.
30 seconds.
Yeah, because you get over 100 million people's eyeballs on them too. So
It's
that's
insane.
why it costs them money. All right, taking a break. We'll see you in a bit at the couch. Coming up after the break.
Speaking of money, do we need to dig into the high cost of our cell phone plans? The jury's still out. Coming up on 6:17 on your Friday morning in overseas trading, the Canadian dollar is up almost a quarter of a cent this morning. It's at 74.86 cents US. Gold is up more than $26. Crude is up $2.70 to $74.72 a barrel. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets are up in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Off to Asia we go on this Friday. Markets are way up in Tokyo, down in Hong Kong and Shanghai. North American markets on Thursday. Some losses on Bay Street, slight gains on Wall Street. Let's see how they do. Last day of trading of the week. It is Friday, January the 12th.
Well, members of Parliament have been debating something that a lot of Canadians already agree on. We pay a lot for cell phone coverage. MPs in the Standing Committee on Industry and Tech were trying to decide yesterday if a study on cell phone prices is needed. It comes after Rogers confirmed that its prices are going up, but only for wireless customers who are not on their contract plans. The committee meeting was suspended without coming to a decision.
A lawyer representing Canadians in a class action lawsuit against Facebook's parent Meta says a proposed settlement sends a strong message about Canada's privacy laws. Now, Meta is offering $51 million to settle the lawsuit over Facebook's sponsored stories advertising program. So this ran from 2011 to 2014 and used people's names and photos without their knowledge. So as part of that program, Facebook created an endorsement with users' names and profile photos anytime they liked a product, but didn't tell anyone their information was being used. Lawyers estimate 4.3 million people could qualify for part of the settlement.
Several First Nations and environmental groups are criticizing the Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission for approving a proposed waste site near the Ottawa River. The authorization was given after an environmental assessment on the site of Crown-owned Chalk River Labs in Deep River, Ontario. A councillor with Kabowik First Nation argues that this project is going to cause adverse environmental effects, including the deforestation of old-growth forest. He says it could also put several animal species at risk, including black bears and eastern wolves.
Indigo Books and Music has laid off a number of staff as part of its ongoing efforts to streamline operations. The exact number of employees that were laid off is not yet known. In an email to the Canadian press, an Indigo spokeswoman says the cuts are linked to the company's strategic plan intended to return the business to profitability. Indigo has seen several quarters of losses and a flurry of executive and board changes over the past year. Most recently, the company reported a net loss of $22.4 million in the second quarter. Last year, the company also grappled with a February cyber attack that took down their website and saw 4 of its 10 directors leave its board, with one attributing her resignation to mistreatment.
Google has laid off hundreds of employees on its hardware, voice assistants, and engineering teams. The moves were made as Google tries to, quote, responsibly invest in our company's biggest priorities and the significant opportunities ahead. Now, earlier, Google had said that it was eliminating a few hundred roles, with most of the impact on its augmented reality hardware team. The cuts follow promises by executives that they would reduce costs. Last year at this time, Google had said it would lay off 12,000 employees, or about 6% of its workforce.
That's a look at business news. We're taking a break because top story today, Brian Wood has it because there's a storm incoming. We're not going to give you the details. We'll let him share the bad news with you after the break. You're welcome.
Good morning. Coming up on 624, checking our MTO traffic cameras, looking at the actually east of Appleby line camera. Not a lot to see this morning. Roads are a little bit slick. Be real careful. Back into St. Catharines, QEW east of Lake, nothing to see. Top of the Skyway Bridge, all doing fine. If we flip through into Mississauga, QEW at Sheraton, not a lot of volume there, and the same with the 403. This is at Burnhamthorpe coming up from the Ford plant, so nothing there either. So please take it carefully, and you're going to have to take it carefully this weekend. Let's talk about what the forecast is looking like. So temperatures right now, we're sitting at -3. Winds are light. Thankfully, wind chill this morning is -5. -1 Grimsby, 0 Mississauga, and for Toronto. For our seasonals this time of year, -2 and -10 daytime and overnight. Sun times and records for today. We'll see a little bit of sun for the day today. That'll be later. Fairly cloudy. For the first bell this morning, -1, and then plus side later on today, +1, and a little bit of sunshine. Now, for today, no problems today, mainly cloudy and +1. Temperatures rise overnight, 3 degrees. Now, the snow is going to begin into the late afternoon into the evening, 5 to 10 centimeters tonight, and then as the temperature goes up, cycling into rain. And then tomorrow, the temperature goes down, -3, but we'll have a wind chill of -12 in the afternoon. As the temperature drops, we'll cycle over into snow. It'll be windy tomorrow and maybe another couple of centimeters. -6 on Sunday was still some flurries and then some sunshine, but look at those cold temperatures, -9 and -8 into next week. That's your forecast. Annette, Tim.
Okay, so you might want to do some bird watching from the inside then. If you're having trouble telling your warblers from your finches and grosbeaks, how about a pair of binoculars that could help you spot the difference?
We're calling it the world's first smart binocular because not only can you see stuff through it, you push a button, it takes a picture, and it tells you what you're looking at.
These are the new AX Vizio binoculars from Swarovski Optic, and it combines their long history of optical instruments with new video and photo cameras and the expertise of the Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Yeah, so while you're looking at that bird, you can take a picture of that bird, then send it to Cornell's Merlin Bird ID app, which used AI to tell which bird you're looking at. So once the bird is identified, its name will appear on the screen within the lens of the binoculars.
Very cool.
The binoculars have also a mammal mode, which is currently limited to 300 species. It is not worldwide as of yet, but how much do you think these are going to cost you? What do you think?
Well, I just saw the
did you?
screen number.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm going to guess $6,500.
$65,000.
It's 100.
I'm just like, $65,000?
6,500.
But on sale for $6,500 just through us here at CHCH.
That is a cool app, though.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe get more people.
Well, because there's so many times, I'm not a bird nerd, but they're just like, what kind of bird is that?
What is that? Yeah.
We'll get our buddy Jackson. Action Jackson.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, talk about that. Okay. We got some things to talk about. Well, Brian's got some things to talk about because some stuff is coming, as you just heard right there. Huh? Feeling a Friday?